fire was invented to landing on the moon. Whether you're a hobbyist, student, engineer, doctor, designer, or educator, we're all passionate about progress and innovation. At Ultimaker, we believe we have the tools that help you develop new ideas. Because that is what we've been working on in the past decade. And that is what we continue to do in the future. Manufacturing your designs should be easy, intuitive, and fast. So you can feel confident and in control. Focus on your ideas, speed up production, and always be a step ahead. Let's transform your 3D printing and the way how you innovate. Welcome to the Ultimaker Transformation Summit.
Welcome, everybody, to Ultimaker's Transformation Summit. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm so glad that you all could make it to our virtual summit. So I have the honor of welcoming you, but also running you through an agenda that is really exciting. It's critical as a company for us, but I think it's just as important for the industry, for our customers, the ecosystem, all stakeholders. And I'll talk about in the agenda about the product to platform strategy. Miguel, our CTO, will talk about the printers and the materials. And Paul Hymans, who is responsible for our software, will give you an insight into the software and what we're doing and what's excitingly happening today. And then I'll follow up just as a summary for all the presentations at the end of today. So I think, maybe before starting, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm relatively new, 3 months into Ultimaker as the CEO. I have been in industrial automation and engineering for a long time. And I guess maybe just to share that for me, one of the things that Ultimaker represents is so much potential and competence in the space of additive manufacturing. And that's what really attracted me. So with that, I will also hope to meet many of you at some point in time, personally, and not just virtually. And I'll look forward to that. As I know for everybody, it's been a very frustrating last 12 months or more. But with that, let me jump into the Ultimaker strategy. So, really to think about our strategy as a company, our vision, our purpose, I really want to start with the world today, because I think it's so critical to understand in what environment are we looking or living in today as a business. And I think for us, the last year or the last 2 or 3 years have been so volatile. There's so much change going on in the world. And it's driven by multiple things, of course, right? But, I think we're at this, cusp of this new world of change. And really it's driven by technological change, right? We see the speed of change technologically. The shortness of the product life cycle is driven by consumers, ultimately. But also this kind of mass customization expectation. But then we also have the trade situation, the political instabilities that are out there. And then, finally last year with the pandemic, we really saw how businesses were challenged by something that I don't think many companies had on their radar screen, really, when they were looking at their business continuity strategies. And then we thought, we had seen it all, we actually had the Suez Canal, right? And again, something that came from out of nowhere challenged us as well in our supply chains. So change and this volatility that's out there, I don't believe it's going to go away. And I think, in the past, it was maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but you were kind of able to get relatively accurate forecasts that were going out 3 years or maybe 5 years. But today, it's hard to forecast 3 months or 5 months out because of this environment and these interdependencies out there. So really, the question is, how do you win in such an environment? How do you succeed in an operating environment that's that volatile? And I think what's important from our perspective is that we really have classified it into 2
key ingredients that we believe are prerequisites to be successful in this volatile world. One of them is flexibility. So the speed in which you can adapt quickly.
Your resource base, your production base, to the changes in the market. The other one is sustainable value. Now, we've grouped a couple of things into this definition here, sustainable value, but fundamentally it's addressing how do you sustainably grow your business over a longer period of time? How do you ensure that you have, as an example, the right resources in your business at the right time, that you're able to scale with the right resource base? And we know it's getting more and more difficult to find the right people. But also that your business is learning, that you're continuously improving. Do you have those mechanisms in place? Because if you're not, and the world is changing rapidly, you are going to be lost or left behind. But also, because of that speed of change out there, you also have to understand that your business cases, right? Your return of investments, your investment criteria, decisions for investing, have to change. Where, it was not uncommon years ago to have a 3-year business case, a 5-year business case. And today, it is more common to talk about 12 months or 15 or 18-month returns that dictate investment decisions for businesses. And the last one is about risk. That you understand the risks you're taking, and that when you make a change in your business, that you do it incrementally. You don't try and change everything at once, because that creates more risk, more change. And so you want to proactively understand and mitigate the risk that you're bringing into your company. And that's what we call sustainable value, in the sense of long-term driven value for your business. Now, how do you get these 2 ingredients to work? How does it work, or how do you enable it to happen? Well, that's it. It's about enabling technologies. And I think that's important, because I think these enabling technologies are out there. And they will support and drive this kind of flexibility and sustainable value. Now, we believe one of those enabling technologies is 3D printing. And, from our perspective, what 3D printing and additive manufacturing actually brings can already be seen today. We see that in the use cases that are there today. I'm showing 3 companies that have leveraged 3D printing and additive manufacturing to enable their businesses to become more competitive and successful in what they're doing. Azoth, as a company, really have, from my perspective, been transformative in the business model by leveraging 3D printing, right? Digital inventories. They found a space in the market where they could support companies, right, in reducing complexities in their supply chain and reduce cost, and really provide this on-demand part production. Schubert, one of the leading top-loading packaging companies out there, have leveraged the technology to really, drive this creative freedom designs, iterating parts faster, quicker, and driving this into their business, right, as a DNA, as a culture. And I think, Navis, a technology company that's really transitioned and transformed the industry when it comes to indoor digital mapping. And in their product development, they've leveraged 3D printing in prototyping, in rapid prototyping, in 24-hour iterations. And I think each one of these, the numbers are up there, right? But from my perspective, are showing the qualities and the use cases of how 3D printing is enabling that to happen. And also here you can see with Navis that despite COVID, they continued because of the flexibility of the technology that they have. And that's what drives a business forward in this volatile world. So that's all very good news, right? And then you would be questioning, why is it not going faster? This move to 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Well, the problem we have is that we've made it very complex. For the mass market, the large majority still look at it as being very, very complex. And as a business, as a customer, complexity equals risk. And it creates a barrier. And things like closed ecosystems, where you don't allow customers to give them the flexibility, are a negative. It's a barrier. A fragmented landscape of a lot of technologies in 3D printing and additive manufacturing. And this the lack of clarity about the strengths and weaknesses of each and how complementary they are. It's very difficult. Another barrier to entry. And the fact that we really have, basically developed operational barriers in the sense of everything is done in process steps, but not really integrated. Again, another barrier. And this does not help. And that's what, from an end user perspective, they're looking for that kind of transformative experience, this kind of integrated experience where it's easy to collaborate. It's easy to innovate. It's easy to share knowledge, to gain knowledge. That's what a customer is looking for. And that's what we have to provide. And that's exactly what our purpose is as Ultimaker. This is where we step in. And this is where we have to take leadership and talk about our purpose, to accelerate the world's transformation to flexible, empowering, and sustainable solutions. Putting the customer experience really at the core of what we're doing, of how we're developing our resource base, our solutions, our products. And, this is a big statement. And it gets even bigger because it's not just about large customers, it's also about the small customers. Because at Ultimaker, we fundamentally believe that these easy-to-use, flexible, and empowering solutions can be used by all. There is no barriers. We take away those barriers. So whether you're small, medium, or large, there is something in your production, in your environment, in your prototyping that can be leveraged using 3D printing, leveraging and enabling technology. Now, how do we propose doing that? Well, our vision really is to be leading in this easy-to-use, seamless, and open 3D printing ecosystem, delivering sustainable, long-term competitive advantage, and putting the customer in the middle of this, the focal point. And it's really bringing 4 major components together. Of course, it's about the hardware, the printers. It's about the software. It's about the materials that you need for printing. And equally important, it's about the support. And bringing that all together, because that's the complexity. And the importance is taking that and offering it as a solution is what we have to do. Take away those complexities. Now, why is that our purpose and why is it our vision? Well, my view, and one of the reasons why I'm the CEO of Ultimaker, why I joined Ultimaker, was driven by the fact that I believe the Ultimaker DNA, from its founding perspective, right in 2010, that we already are living this open ecosystem platform model today, and we've been living it for a long time. So up here, you can see in the slides that we've been very innovative. The blue boxes show you the products we've brought to market, whether it was the original Ultimaker in 2011, or the 2, the 3, the S5, the S5 Pro bundle, the S3, and it goes on, right? So very innovative on the printer side. But what you'll see in the gray boxes is that we've been equally innovative on the software side, on the ecosystem side, driving Ultimaker Cura in 2011, the world's largest slicing software platform. We've looked at enabling tools that will help with material print profiles, pushing an open platform and a marketplace already in 2019, driving the Ultimaker Academy, which is so critical for awareness and competence building, enabling businesses to do 3D printing or additive manufacturing, and releasing the first subscription service in 2020 already as well, Essentials. And from my perspective, the core of Ultimaker is this. And it's one of the things that the people have told me when I joined is, don't change that part. This is who we are. And I respect that. And I think it's going to be one of our key strengths as a company, a real true differentiator. Now, if you look at the facts of who we are and our DNA, we are already today 350 employees. More than half of those employees are engineers, looking at the technology, driving the technology, ensuring that we're leading in the technology platform. We have an installed base of over 130,000 printers out there today, with whom we are working together with, driving more continuous innovation. Our partner network on the sales side and service side, we have over 320 partners worldwide, globally, covering more than 70 countries, and that's growing day by day. Our ecosystem, I've just talked a little bit about that with our DNA. If you look at the Cura, Ultimaker Cura slicer, we're the leading active number of users using that in the world today. Our software and material partners, we have over 50 in each one of those areas, driving it forward. So 100+ partners today already in our ecosystem. The Academy is already, in 2020, we delivered over 5,000 courses. And our community, Ultimaker community members, we already have 55,000. Now, these might just seem like some facts, but for me, these are kind of the building blocks of why we believe we can be the leading driver of a 3D printing ecosystem and a platform business model. Because the facts are, if you look at them in detail, the 57+ partners in the material side in our marketplace today already, 181 print material profiles already published in our marketplace, with 17 different properties. This is by far the widest selection that's available out there. So we offer so much diversity, so much flexibility to our customers today already. Already on the software side, we have over 50 software plugins that are already in the marketplace today. And this is just the beginning. We're just starting. And coming back to our community members, 50% of these are professional members.
And we're growing at 30% every year. And we've just begun, ultimately, right? So we already have a significant base. And if you look at the Cura software, over 800,000 monthly active users in 2020. We grew by 40%. The number of slices per month grew by 115% to 16.5 million per month. And we're seeing in the first months of 2021 continuous growth in each of these areas. So fundamentally, if you look at it from a factual perspective, and we're looking at it more and more of these facts that drive this ecosystem play home. And that's what made me realize when we were looking at our strategy, we don't actually have to reinvent the wheel. We just got to bring it all together. And another example of that is the digital factory shows you that 4,500 factory prints per week, a growth of 400% in 2020.
So, the way I look at this is that we have everything. It's bringing it together. And the bringing it together is talking about this Ultimaker ecosystem. This is going to drive innovation. And it's not just us as Ultimaker that have to drive the innovation. It's together this will happen. It's a self-sustaining innovation system, right? The more we grow, the more we bring add-ons, more materials, more products, more services, the more users we'll get, and so on. And it continues to drive forward. And that's the strength about the ecosystem model. And we're not changing anything fundamentally. We're just formalizing it, supporting it, coordinating, orchestrating, and proactively investing into the ecosystem. So not just into Ultimaker, but also into the ecosystem, into our partners. Because we fundamentally believe that it has to be a shared value model, right? So it's shared value that we want to create. Win, win, win. And what do we have to do? We've got to get back to focusing on that end user experience. That's the driver, right? So all the process steps you see here, that printing workflow, that's got to be the baseline for us. And if we know that that's the workflow, then how do we look at that? Well, from an Ultimaker perspective, we already have products and services aligned on all those different steps. And we'll continue to invest in those to drive more and more of those to make it easier to use, supportive for the end user. But the ecosystem's also playing and building on top of the platform, offering solutions for also those exact same workflow steps. And this is what we're talking about, this integrated experience of the Ultimaker platform, but also the Ultimaker ecosystem driving support and easy solutions for the end user. Now, how do I enter into this Ultimaker platform? Well, the important part, the beginning, is really about Ultimaker Essentials. This is truly the door opener. And we released the subscription last year. And what we are now doing is doing a video.
For organizations using 3D printing, true progress only happens when the technology is accessible to anyone, anywhere. But this can bring challenges, like meeting IT security policies, managing user access, and upskilling team members who lack 3D printing knowledge. Sound familiar? Ultimaker Essentials is a software subscription that's built to help businesses overcome these barriers and more. With Ultimaker Essentials, you can centrally manage your 3D printing workflows, so designers and engineers can create parts when and where they matter, and spend less time worrying about IT issues. An Ultimaker Essentials subscription plan unlocks several features designed to help you scale 3D printing innovation. Organization access management lets admins invite users, control their admin rights, or remove 3D printing access entirely. Remote 3D printing via Ultimaker Digital Factory means your team can print from anywhere in the world, at home or in the office. Send print jobs via the cloud to your Ultimaker 3D printers, then track progress across your devices. For preparing print jobs quickly and easily, the Enterprise Edition of our Ultimaker Cura software is designed to meet business infrastructure standards, packaged for deployment, independently security assessed, and with long-term support of 12 months for each release. You can increase security even further with a firmware firewall that blocks uncontrolled network access to Ultimaker 3D printers. and customize your workflow through a managed marketplace where you can download third-party material profiles and verified software plugins. Ultimaker Essentials also helps you upskill your engineers, printer operators, and IT admins with online courses in the Ultimaker 3D Printing Academy, developed by 3D printing experts. And reduce disruptions with direct software support, on hand to help you Monday to Friday. Together, these features will help your organization to adopt 3D printing, accelerate innovation, and maintain a stable IT infrastructure and productive 3D printers. Contact your Ultimaker reseller today to get started, or visit ultimaker.com to learn more about our products and solutions.
So you can see Essentials adds so much value. And what we're now doing to create this platform is bundling it with the Ultimaker 3D printers. And Essentials is driving and basically allowing the ecosystem to work. It provides the Ultimaker digital factory, and it really gives you access to the Ultimaker Academy. And this is so, from our perspective, the starting point of the platform. And we'll continue to innovate based on these different aspects. And Paul and Miguel will come back and talk more about what is in this base layer and the rest of the opportunities. Now, for us, it's one bundle and it's one price. Again, the idea here is to simplify things. We want to move to simple and clear environment for customers, partners, for the ecosystem to understand. So one bundle, one price. But there's more. And it gets even more exciting, right? Because from my perspective, we are now moving on to offering 2 new subscriptions. And these features that you'll be seeing will be available from today. And really here you can see it all together, right? So the Essentials is part of the bundled package, giving you that kind of start into the 3D printing world. What's important here, of course, is that it really is the base layer, but it already provides so much value in giving you that e-learning experience, the academy, right? For us, from our perspective, it's also about giving secure access to the software and access management. But if you look at the 2 new subscriptions we're offering, it's really about taking it to the next level. So if we look at that professional subscription, what it really looks at is transforming your business to a much more digital working environment. So we're offering unlimited storage in the digital library, the ability to open CAD files in Ultimaker Cura, reporting, and now you get even more access to more of the Academy e-learning programs. And then next to that, we offer the Ultimaker Excellence. And this is truly, right, the top level, where you now even have access to support, consultancy support, application support, and there's multiple other benefits. Again, e-learning, academy, single sign-on. This is what we believe and what we've heard from our customers is what they're looking for. Again, allowing them to integrate the tools into their operating environments that enables them to leverage the technology better. So from our perspective, we fundamentally believe that the platform is really the future for us. It's the future because it enables our ecosystem to take advantage of this Ultimaker platform. It enables people to become innovative, creative, offering solutions, offering different things. And this platform, you can see here one more time. So at the base layer, we have Ultimaker Cura. And the Ultimaker platform sits above that. And we bring in our printer hardware, the Ultimaker Essentials, and we bring a set of tools, the interface layer, APIs, that enable really our ecosystem to develop certified products as well as continually have open innovation in both the hardware, materials, and the software. And together, if we do this, then the ability to offer customized solutions, specific solutions for our customers is given. This is the way we can actually address the small, medium, and large business requirements together. And the power of many is much, much more than just one company. And that's at the core of the Ultimaker strategy. So I believe the experience has just gotten better, right? This magical experience, and we use magical because it's one of our values. We believe in creating the magic. But we're just at the beginning. And I'm very excited that we've started this transition, this transformation as a company, but also as an ecosystem. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Miguel to come up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jürgen. Hi, everyone. I'm Miguel Calvo, Chief Technology Officer here at Ultimaker. As you can see today, I'm recording in my home office in the UK. Like Jürgen, I'm only a few months into my Ultimaker journey, but I'm already hugely inspired by the work happening in the business as we transition from product to platform. Prior to joining, I held multiple R&D leadership positions in high technology industries and was actually an Ultimaker customer, having brought additive manufacturing to my last business and witnessed firsthand the huge growth of applications the printers were used for, not just in product development, but also manufacturing engineering and even facilities management as we transitioned the business to COVID-safe working. As mentioned, I'll today talk about the platform and ecosystem in relation to printers, peripherals, and materials. I hope to show you the power of Ultimaker's platform as we accelerate the world's transformation to flexible, empowering, and sustainable solutions. It all starts with the platform. Working together, our printers and Ultimaker Essentials create a strong platform upon which we build peripherals, materials, and other software offerings, widening the reach of possible solutions our users can realize. As Jürgen mentioned in his introduction, Ultimaker invests significant R&D, but not just in developing our own hardware and software solutions, but also in developing the APIs, interfaces, and enablement tools for our partners to use to bring their solutions, knowledge, and products into the ecosystem, further widening the potential of our users to solve ever more complex problems. This means that, much like other well-known recent examples, owners of Ultimaker products will see the abilities of their devices actually grow with time. I'll talk more about this in a little while. So how does the platform and ecosystem work in practice? Well, we know from speaking with many customers that they think in ideas and problems and aim for solutions. The printers are a tool to get to the solution they need. So typically an end user will have an idea or a problem, they'll develop an application, they'll already own or will purchase an Ultimaker product, and then leverage the ecosystem to pick the right components to produce the solution they require. Let's have a look at this in practice.
With this device we measure the speed of our conveyor belts. The challenge that we had was that the wheel broke and we couldn't get a replacement, and then we had to order a new device. We modeled the wheel and we printed it with TPU outer layer to have a good grip on our conveying belts. If it breaks again, we don't need to buy a new device, and within 3 hours we can print a new one and we're ready to use it again.
We saw there a simple solution to increase the life of an otherwise perfectly functional tool. The Ultimaker material range enabled the solution to be produced from within the Ultimaker product family. The dual-core printhead allowing multi-material printing to give the right combination of structural strength for the wheel and traction or grip on the outer edge. But what if Ultimaker's material range doesn't fill the brief? Whilst we continue to develop our own material range, we can't cover all applications, nor do we need to. We have an ecosystem filled with partners with expertise in different areas who are developing their own materials to work on our platform. Let's go back to the same customer to see how they solved a different problem.
The challenge that we had with the in-feed worm was that the supplier didn't supply it anymore. It was obsolete, and sometimes we have to replace it inside machine because of wear, and we simultaneously want to improve the design. First we copied the original design, we printed it in ABS, but ABS worn down pretty fast. So afterwards we optimized the design and we printed it again with carbon reinforced nylon. That part has been in the machine ever since. It's great that we can print this part, because if we have an optimized design or it's worn, we can replace it within a day.
In this case, we saw that the plant needed an abrasion-resistant component. After prototyping with an Ultimaker material, they found the design was good, but the parts had a short lifetime. The Ultimaker platform allowed them to find the perfect material from one of our material partners, which solved their problem and provided a robust, production-ready component. So, how does the Ultimaker platform allow users to find the perfect material solution? Let's assume we've designed an electronic assembly fixture and would like to rapidly produce a working prototype to test. The fixture must be ESD safe to ensure we don't damage the delicate components. Can we 3D print the parts? Let's find out.
So here we are in Ultimaker Cura. You can see that I'm logged in as my avatar is displaying in the top right corner. So let's have a look and see if we can find a material appropriate for our application. I go up and click on the Marketplace button, and the Marketplace loads with materials selected. I can click the hyperlink here to search the materials. A browser opens, and you can see at the top there's 197 materials currently displaying in the Marketplace, but I want to filter this down, and I want to do so via material characteristics. Clicking here, I can see the top 5 characteristics. Of course, I can hit Show All for many more, but I can see conductivity is actually displaying at this level, so if I just click that checkbox, you can see that here there is one material in the Marketplace specifically called out as ESD safe for electronics, jigs and fixtures. Let's click on the tile. As you can see, more information loads, including technical data sheets and safety data sheets, the website of the manufacturer, also a link to buy spools. But now I'm just interested in adding the material profile to Cura, so I click on this button. And that's us done in the browser. Let's head back to Cura. Here we are back in Cura. We need to sync the application with those changes we made on our web account, so let's go up to the avatar, click on it, and you can see here there's a little link that says check for account updates. Clicking on that, and Cura tells us it's detected changes on the account. If we click the sync button, a new dialog appears. This lists all the changes made in the Marketplace. In this case, the addition of one material, but you may have added extra plugins or more materials at the same time, and they'd all be listed here. I click Next, and Cura asks us to quit and restart the application in order to install the changes. Let's do so. So here we are. Cura has restarted. Let's have a look if I can find and select the material. Clicking here, I can access the material selector for the print cores. Under print core 1, I click the drop down. I can see the new supplier, and moving to the right, the material class, and to the right again, the actual material. Clicking on the material generates a new pop-up that just describes some profile changes. In this case, I'll keep the changes, and the material is loaded and ready to be sliced. And there you have it. The workflow's simple, the search tools are powerful, and you can find a material for your application in minutes.
The number of materials available in the Ultimaker marketplace continues to rise. enabled by the platform tools that Ultimaker continues to develop to support our partners. The Print Profile Assistant is a tool we developed to walk partners through the process of developing a print profile for the material. Following the process delivers a minimum settings required to print. Of course, there is always more fine-tuning that can be done, but the tool gets them a significant way towards a printable profile using an easy-to-follow method built on top of our existing software. The Ultimaker Contributor Portal is another tool created for partners to request the addition of their materials to the marketplace and to manage their existing portfolio. Any updates to the data in the marketplace can be managed through the portal. Both of these tools, as well as close collaboration with Ultimaker's chemists, engineers, and technicians where required, enable world-class material producers to get their solutions into the marketplace and available to the Ultimaker community for printing. And the result? Well, we've seen an exponential rise in the number of third-party materials available in the marketplace, and we expect that number to continue to rise. When I recorded the workflow showing how easy it was to select a new material based on material characteristics, there were 197 third-party materials available in the marketplace. This morning, when I looked, that had already risen by 2, and including our own materials, there are over 215 materials to choose from at the last count. And when you consider that that range includes flexible, composite, metals, and more, the ecosystem will always beat any closed system every time. So what does the future of materials look like? An ever-expanding list of materials and their properties, increasing the likelihood of you finding the perfect solution to your problem. And if you can't find the perfect material today, then reach out to us. Our application engineers are always testing the boundaries of what is possible. But with this ever-expanding list of materials available in the marketplace, how do you know that you can trust the results will be as good as Ultimaker materials? Our materials are tested thoroughly by our engineers with years of experience on our platform, including the development of our intent profiles, allowing you the security of knowing you'll get a consistent result every time. Well, today I'm announcing the next step in our ecosystem development, material certification. Working with our partners, we will bring a new class of materials to the marketplace, those developed by the expertise of our partners, but certified by Ultimaker to ensure that you have the same high confidence in the output as you do with our own materials. We are currently developing the process and will provide further details to our partners as it becomes ready for rollout. And of course, the platform remains open to all materials, giving users the opportunity to use any source, even from outside the marketplace, though this may take a little more tweaking of settings to get a good output. There are indeed over 500 parameters to consider to get the perfect print profile. Why not trust our partners or Ultimaker to do the work for you? So I've talked a lot about materials, but what about hardware? Ultimaker have continued to innovate in the desktop space, bringing multiple print calls, the Air Manager, and the still unique Material Station to the market. And we won't stop there. We continue to work on the Material Station to further improve and evolve its functionality and compatibility with as wide a set of materials as possible, as well as working on other peripherals. Let's focus for a minute on Ultimaker's print calls. A range of cores allows wide material compatibility, from water-soluble support to composites and metals, easy changeover, and intent-driven nozzle sizes. Print draft and fast with a 0.8mm diameter, or with the highest visual quality with a 0.25mm diameter. But we don't stop looking at the range and developing it further. The CC Reg 0.6 was launched to bring abrasive materials to the hardware platform, and it was very successful in doing so. We indeed saw an application a little earlier printed with this core. But we were also aware that we could improve it. Today, I'm pleased to announce 2 new print cores, CC 0.4 and CC 0.6. Our 2 new print cores are based around PVD-coated tool steel nozzles rather than a ruby nozzle in a brass housing. Along with a few other changes in the design, this increases the robustness to abrasive materials and extends the life of the core. The new cores are excellent for printing composites, metals, and now with finer detail than was previously possible due to the finer nozzles. I'm really happy to say that these two cores will launch mid-year, compatible with the Ultimaker 3, the S3 and S5. We've just extended our printer's capabilities again, opening up solutions to applications not previously possible. But why stop there? Does your solution require excellent surface finish? Maybe vapor smoothing? Are you printing for investment casting? What about molds to form super flexible silicon parts? There are a multitude of hardware solutions out there, which, when paired with the right material on the right printer, unlock even more solutions than we can ever address with a printer and material alone. Via our platform, we can link partners in the ecosystem together to form ready-made solutions to our customers' problems. And that's why, today, I'm announcing the last step in completing the platform. Third-party hardware certification. While we are still in the planning phase, we will be reaching out to some key partners to start work on our hardware certification process. We'll be building platform tools to support this, as we have and continue to do so with materials. By having hardware certified as works with Ultimaker, users will know it meets the quality and reliability requirements set by us and is fit for purpose. More will follow on this exciting announcement. So, there you have it. The Ultimaker platform, driving a diverse ecosystem of partners with different and complementary products and expertise, accelerating the world's transformation to flexible, empowering, and sustainable solutions. With that, I'll wrap up. I've covered materials and hardware in my talk today. I'd like to now hand over to Paul, our Senior Vice President for Software, and Roger, Product Manager Software, to take you through the exciting developments in our software platform.
Hello everybody, my name is Paul. I'm responsible for application software within Ultimaker, and that means that my teams develop applications like the Digital Factory, our marketplace, and obviously Cura. We strongly believe that with our software we can help you to get the most out of 3D printing. And I'm here today with my colleague Roger, who is actually, this is the first time I see Roger in 7 months and not at a Microsoft Teams screen. So I'm very excited that we're in the same space again.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Yeah, it's indeed very strange, but also very exciting to be just 6 feet apart. My name is Roger Bergs. I'm the product manager for software within Ultimaker, and I'm responsible for the strategy and roadmap of the software, as well as for any partner relationship that we do on software level.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this 3D printing workflow. So if you would look at a generic 3D printing workflow, it would all start with identifying which application you actually would want to print. And then you get your requirements for that application, you select the material, you design the actual part, you draw it in your CAD software, you slice it with Cura, then you actually need to print that file, and therefore you need access to a printer, or maybe one of your colleagues should actually print the file, so you need to be able to manage the users and the printers. Then you actually print the part. When you're done, you evaluate the part, and you might need to go back to the beginning again to change your design. But it also could be the case that one of your colleagues should be able to print that part at the moment he or she needs it, at the location she needs it. So it took me now 30 seconds to run you through this flow, but in practice it's a lot more difficult than this. And with the teams at Ultimaker, we're actually constantly talking to customers, listening what their issues are, and then we want to see if we can add value by streamlining this workflow, or actually add value in one of these steps in the workflow. And yeah, that's really needed.
Yeah, because what we observed when we talked to all these customers about this workflow, it's that it's actually almost non-existent. So it means it's either very disconnected, it's fragmented, but above all, it's very, very poorly documented. And that results in a lot of reinventing the wheel and having to do stuff all over again that somebody else already found out in the company. So some of our customers try to solve that. We have one customer that talked to us that made a whole process in SharePoint, but actually that just meant a lot of extra overhead for engineers, which they don't like. And then I had another customer complaining that because there's a lot of trial and error involved, that it took them sometimes even up to 50 times to really come to the right iteration and to get the right part out of the whole process. And more than half of that could have been prevented had he been able to look up what others already did in the company or what he did himself even in earlier steps. So a lot of room for improvement in this workflow.
Yeah, and then to bring this value to our customers, Ultimaker strongly believes in an open platform. So on our platform we have our printers, we have the software, we work with material partners, we have our academy where we have learning tracks, and obviously there is the community out there as well where 3D professionals help each other. We believe in an open platform because we are like working continuously to add value there, but we cannot do everything ourselves. So we also want to enable our customers to add value on top of this platform, and we also work with partners to bring functionality to you, which really will help you to streamline your 3D printing workflow. So let's look at some of the topics we are addressing today, Roger.
Yeah, so based on the challenges that we saw with our customer, we defined these key needs that we want to bring to our customers. The first key need that we are addressing is really removing the knowledge and capability barriers. So we see that a lot of people still have a lot to learn on 3D printing, so we need to help them with that. But it's not only us that should help them. Within companies, there are these champions that already know everything. So what we also need to do is leverage that knowledge that is inside a company and let users collaborate and help each other learning and go through this process. The third thing that we see is data and reporting. So we see a lot of companies that have to still prove the value of 3D printing. So we need to help them with that. Give them the data, give them the right tools to prove to the company how much value 3D printing brings. Then what we also are going to do is give a very effective and more productive workflow to the engineer. And not only by giving him a totally new workflow, but also embed it in the existing workflows that he is already accustomed with. And the last thing that they need from us is simply help. So we're going to give expert assistance to further help them out with this.
Yeah, so based on these needs, which Roger just described, we're adding the following features to the platform today. First one is the digital library, where you can actually collaborate on parts with your colleagues. We are enabling seamless CAD and platform integration. We're adding reporting and analytics. We have export support and integrations, and we will bring you advanced e-learning. And Roger will zoom in a bit on these topics now.
Yes, I can zoom only just a little bit, because we don't have that much time in this session. But tomorrow, or depending on the time zone that you're in, Thursday or Friday, we will have in the conference a deep dive session into the new features of our software, and I will do that together with my colleagues Elder, Karin and Terry-Ann, and there we will show all these new features in depth in the demo. But to go a little bit deeper, the first and most important thing that we're adding today is the digital library. And this is a library where you can store everything and document everything from the workflow that we just described, from the early beginning when you first identify a part to the really ready to print part that you can reproduce by others, can be reproduced by others in your company. And in this library we also stimulate sharing of knowledge and collaborating with others, and therefore that will really drive new and more applications within companies. The second thing that we're going to add is a more efficient workflow. And we're going to do that on one hand by integrating Cura deeper with this digital library, so you can directly save and open files from and to this digital library from Cura, and you can automatically then store all the settings of Cura. They will be automatically saved in the digital library, so that a colleague even could just take off where you left it, and that will give a lot of more productivity to this engineer. What we then also going to do later in June is offer the ability to directly open native CAD files in Cura. So no need to first convert to STL. You can directly work in CAD or put a changed CAD file in Cura, and that will also really speed up the productivity in the workflow. The third part that we're going to focus on is really making reporting data a first-class citizen in our platform, meaning that you can report back on anything from printers, print jobs that you did, your whole fleet, how it performed, and also the projects in your library. You can see what value they bring and how many value they have brought to your company. All to really help companies to drive getting value out of 3D printing. And then, of course, as you already described, we are doing this in an open way. So the Digital Factory has, for every feature in the Digital Factory, an API, which is an integration point where either customers can integrate with to really do that last mile of customizations to make it fit in their own workflow, but also software partners can benefit from this, as they can then make out-of-the-box integrations with their software systems. And of course, we are going to help customers doing this by offering support for these integrations, or if they want that support on applications or support on this business intelligence and reporting that I was talking about. And last but not least, in our offering, we will be adding new classes to the e-learning environment of the Ultimaker Academy. And that's also meant to bring the level of knowledge really one notch up in professionality.
Yeah, so that's really a lot. So more on day 2 of the conference, and then you have a bit more time to explain properly. So to our platform, we're adding all these things you just heard from Roger, on the software level, on the application level, on the academy level. And as we're also opening up our platform with APIs, you can actually integrate our solution with your own custom or third-party software. On top of that, we're actively working with partners to bring you even more functionality that you can use.
Yeah, tomorrow also in the conference, we really show some very nice example where partners really help us speed up this innovation and these values that customers can get. One example is Smart Slice from Teton. It's a simulation add-in in Cura that helps you really tune your slicing settings in such a way that you get the optimal strength out of a part. Another example, Castor, they make part identification software. So that means that they scan your whole database of CAD designs and they identify which parts could also easily be 3D printing and save you a lot of money. And what they are going to do is when they identify a part that is suitable for FFF printing, they will push that to our digital library, and then it's really ready for an engineer to pick up and start working on and saving money for your organization. And the last example we're going to show tomorrow is one that I'm personally very excited about, is an integration with Fusion 360 from Autodesk. So what we're going to do is make the option directly available from Fusion 360 to push a design into the digital library of the Digital Factory. And also, if you want, read it back from there, so that this whole integration from Fusion to Ultimaker, to Cura, to your printer is much more smoothly and much more integrated than today.
Yeah, very good stuff. So yeah, bringing then all together what we learned today. So as of today, these features are available, and that means the following. Essentials that we launched last year in November, and when I launched it then I also explained this is just the beginning. That will remain, but it will be bundled with your new printer. So everybody who buys a new printer will get Essentials bundled with the printer. Obviously, for your existing installed base, you can still purchase it at your preferred reseller. And with Essentials, you get enterprise-grade security assessed software with support, and you have features like user management and actually enabling firewalls on your printers for security purposes. Then on top of that, we'll launch 2 new subscriptions today, Ultimaker Professional and Ultimaker Excellence. Ultimaker Professional has all the features as just explained by Roger, the digital library with the unlimited storage, the integration, the in-depth reporting, and the professional level e-learning tracks. And then on top of that, you can get Excellence, which is actually all the features from Professional, but coupled with this expert support from our BI team, application engineering team, or support on using our APIs. You do have that full API access, so you can integrate your own software with our solution. You will get the federated single sign-on, meaning you can log into the platform with your Microsoft or Google account. You get the highest SLA and you get the expert e-learning tracks. So this is all available per today. Again, check out day 2 of the conference, depending on your time zone. That's either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, where Roger and the team will explain in more detail what we're adding to the platform today. What I also want to stress out is, so we're adding a lot today, but it's also just the beginning, because these teams will remain working on features that add value for you. So we will keep expanding our platform. So that means if you get Professional Excellence, the feature set will grow over time as well. But I definitely think there is a lot of interesting stuff in there already today. So check it out, go to our website. If you sign up before the 1st of July, you get a 20% discount on the first year. There is a 30-day trial period, so you can always cancel if you like, no strings attached there. Thank you so much. And then I want to pass it back to Jürgen again.
Very good. Miguel, Paul, Roger, thank you very much for those inspiring presentations and giving insight into our technology and the platform and how we plan on driving this transformation forward. And as you can see, I think we are truly at the beginning of so much more to come to create that experience, right, for our end users, bringing them more into the focus and looking at it from their perspective. So, you know, I think what's important for me is to ensure that when we look at this, that we have multiple steps or multiple aspects that are building the story for Ultimaker. Building our strategy, the transformation, and our own growth. And it starts with the platform. That's the first point. But it also looks at the, leveraging the market growth. The expected growth of this industry is phenomenal. We're looking at 24+% over the next 5 years for our technology in this 3D printing market. And for us, that's the part we want to leverage. And, it's not just about Ultimaker. It's about a complete industry that is growing every day. And the strategy that we've built and we're building and developing continuously will be about leveraging that. And so, and that's why it's so important that if we can get 400, 500, 600 different ecosystem partners going in the same direction, that is truly differentiating. It's competitive advantage, and it's so much potential that we can leverage together. That's what drives the business model. And this is where we create that mutual benefit for all players in the ecosystem. And the ecosystem includes our customers. It's not just about us. Because when a customer buys a product or a service from Ultimaker, they're buying not just the Ultimaker product and service, they're buying the ecosystem potential. And therefore, we fundamentally think that we are on the right path, and we are building the future. And I think this is what it's, you know, the true value, if you want flexibility, and we understand the volatility that we have out there in the world, then you've got to buy that flexibility, that sustainable value. And that's driven by an ecosystem that is continuously innovating and driving you as a customer forward. So join us on this transformation. Join us to make you more competitive. Join our ecosystem as a partner, as a customer, as a stakeholder, because we've just begun. So I hope we've been able to give you some insight into our strategy. It is exciting. There's a lot of complexities in that strategy, but that is the challenge. And I think the more I speak to our partners in the ecosystem, the more I speak to our customers, I know we're on the right strategy. So here at the Transformation Summit, we have many new things that we're wanting to show and communicate and give you an understanding of. So please experience the new solutions that we have. Ask questions, right? So we have experts in our conference. We have customers in the conference. Join and listen to those. I think, you know, we have the virtual showrooms, and we also have our Ultimaker teams where you can interact in live chats. Take advantage of the Transformation Summit to get a better understanding of Ultimaker, the ecosystem, the technologies, and ultimately the solutions we want to offer and where we're going. Thank you very much for being here.